What's interesting to me is that there has been a lot of talk about kind of not erasing the Black woman, but putting her casually to the side. So
Mm.
I have a thought here. I'm interested in knowing, there has been a lot of talk about Black women and how educated we are and how much money we make in comparison to Black men, and how that is destroying the Black family. So, how do you feel about that? What is your take on that? Because Black women statistically are more educated, not just than Black men, but than any other group that exists in the country. And we have kind of turned the pages in terms of income. We are now outpacing our Black men counterparts, male counterparts, when it comes to how much money we make as well. So, can we say that things are different? And on top of that, I'd like to say that when we talk about the Say Her Name movement, which is the movement you created, we'll talk about in a few seconds, Black men are being killed disproportionately at the hands of police. And although Black women are also being killed at the hands of the police, it's not as much as Black men. So how can we rectify those two things?
Great question. So let me take you through each one, because a lot of times things that circulate as fact ain't really so. So let's talk about the education issue. Black women are not the most educated in America. That is a myth. The rate of education for Black women relative to Black men is greater than other gender groups within different races. But Black women are not more educated than white women. They are not more educated than white men. And that is a myth that really tracks on to another idea, which is Black women, because they're twofers, they're Black and they're women, they have more opportunities than their brothers and they get paid more. Also a myth. More particular, the most important economic feature of your life is how much wealth you have. Black women have a median net wealth of less than $100. By that, half of Black women are not worth $100, and half of Black women are more than $100. Your wealth is more important than your income. Your wealth determines where you live, what kind of kids you can send, what kind of schools you can send your kids to, what kind of extracurricular activities you can afford, whether you live in a place that's a food desert or actually has healthy food and opportunities to exercise and be healthy. So Black women disproportionately are the single-headed households that support Black children. Their wealth determines how well they can support them. With Black women having a median net wealth of $100, it means that many, if not most, Black families are struggling. Here's the last bit. Men get killed more than women across the board. What we're focusing on when we're looking at racial discrimination is the level of disparity. Black women are get killed at a rate of about 30%. 30% of women who are killed are Black, although we're less than 10% of the population. So it shows you that disproportionately among women, Black women are more likely to be killed. And here's the last thing. Black women are the only race and gender group in which the majority of those who were killed were not armed when they had an encounter with the police. So what that means is our race is a more significant risk factor than if we were holding a weapon. In other words, just the look on our face, the fact that we're Black makes us more dangerous than white women who may be holding a gun. Now, that is racial disparity. It's racial disparity between women, and we're just not used to talking about racism in that way. So that's what Say Her Name is about, recognizing this as another site of anti-Black racism.
Okay, I have to push back a little bit on the Black women, because the Center for American Progress says that Black women outpace white women, Latinos, Asians, and even white men when it comes to degrees. So
yeah, and there's a lot of dispute about that. So let's unpack it a little bit further. When it comes to the degrees that Black women get and the debt for which they go into to get them, Black women are disproportionately seeking education from for-profit institutions that leave them in debt for quite a long period of time. That's number one. Number two, the dollar for dollar benefit that one gets from getting a graduate degree is not the same for Black women as it is for any other group. If you really want to see who outpaces Black women in terms of education and in terms of the dollar for dollar investment, is not even white women. Asian women also outpace Black women. So we just have to be really very circumspect and careful about the data that gets passed around. But here's the last and most important thing. We should not be having fights about whether Black women, Black men are worse off relative to each other. The point of the matter is all Black people make less than white people. All Black people have less wealth than white people. And so if we're not talking about both groups, and that's what Say Her Name is about, then we're not talking about all the ways that Black people, Black communities, and Black families are disadvantaged.
Yes, indeed.